Here's Corin. It says live music, hip hop hooray. It's Saturday Spaz this Friday. There's no live music coming up on the 3rd, but here we are. It's a great looking place. Really, really awesome. Got all the boys in the house coming in.
So this is Dewey. Dewey,
how you doing, Dewey? How you doing,
lawnmower outside.
I love your lawnmower, sir. Oh, yeah, I might take a ride on it later.
This is Matt. He runs the bar.
Well, hey, how you doing, brother? Great to meet you, man. I'm Corey. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for letting us come by. Sorry for the bad camera work. I'm gonna pause and come back to you in a moment. All right. What's happening? I'm back. Okay, we're Cornemic, as you know, and if you don't mind introducing yourself, sir.
Matt Norica, General Manager of Emerald Point Bar and Grill.
And this was the bar and grill where Vanilla Ice was set to perform, and it got canceled. We're not going to talk about that yet. What I'd rather find out about more is just more about you, so we can all get to know each other. Like, well, where were you born, first of all?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Lehighton, but I moved when I was 1, and I've been in Texas ever since. So I'm a Texas boy. I wouldn't even know where it was in Pennsylvania I was born, other than my birth certificate. No hate on Pennsylvania, though. I got a lot of friends from the East Coast, and all my mom's family's from there, so,
Do you mind if I bum a cigarette off you?
How about it?
My pack has disappeared on me.
My pack's your pack.
Oh, Parliaments. This was my old fave.
Funks.
Yeah.
Got 'em.
Yeah, I used to smoke these bad boys back in the day. I switched to the all naturals,
I know.
So when you came down to Texas, which part of Texas did you end up in? Here?
South Austin.
Oh, South Austin. That's not a bad place to end up, though.
Yep. Nice, smooth, calm place.
Yeah. What year was that in?
I mean, I was in preschool. I'm 33 now, so it's been a long time. I don't
So-
do math well.
So what was what was Austin like growing up in the 90s then?
Calm, nice, smooth. You can ride your bike anywhere. Go and do whatever you want. Hang out with your friends. Your only stipulation was come home before dark.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing N64 and stuff. GoldenEye.
Yeah,
Or,
man.
my old Super Nintendo.
I remember. I mean, I grew up in in Georgia in the 70s, Arkansas and Georgia in the 70s. I remember going to the grocery store with my mom in the late 70s, and she would leave her keys in the car. Literally leave her keys in the car the whole time we were shopping.
Hopefully nobody knows where I live, but I still leave my doors unlocked in my truck and everything else, because it's not really that worrisome down there.
Yeah, no. Where I live outside of Houston, in this old country neighborhood. I mean, I almost never lock my car doors ever, and if I forget to lock my front door, I don't worry about it. But I also, I also have a robber stopper near the bed too, just in case.
Yeah, I got a black German Shepherd who's ferocious.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, mine's made of metal, but
I've also got a very stabby wife, so nobody's gonna get past her.
No way, dude. I appreciate that. That's for sure.
Yep.
When you were in high school, what was your main kind of like drive, your aspiration for your future? What were you going for?
Honestly, at the time, I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do. Even now, I feel like I never really was at the point where I wanted to make big plans. I was planning on going to law school, but I kind of got that far, took all my LSATs, Princeton Review, I applied to law schools, I got in, then I was comfortable with it, and after that I was kind of like, you know what, I just want to go have fun. I like the bar industry, I like meeting a bunch of people like now I'm meeting you.
Yeah, man.
Through mutual friends.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of people and it's just way more fun. I can't see myself behind a desk.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I got to be out and about.
No, that'd be a death sentence for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
seriously.
That's kind of where I was going with high school, and obviously I met people like Mike that we've all hung out for a long time and just had fun on the lake. The lifestyle up here is it's relaxed. Everybody's chill. There's not drama like there is everywhere else. It's a laid back atmosphere.
And so when in the first decade of the 2000s, that would have put you kind of
You're pretty young, man.
Yeah. You would have been like finishing up your high school years, all that.
Early 2000s?
Well, no, like between 2001 2010.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
06.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you're graduating in Austin in 06, when you compare it to when you were in the late 90s when you were younger, and then after 9/11, was there much of a change in Austin in terms of the vibe and the way that the
I don't think so. I mean, at least not as far as, I feel like the area that we grew up in up here in Lake Travis, like that was a pretty its own little bubble, yeah. And kind of the same with South Austin too. Like South Austin's always been a really cool, chill spot. where everybody's just relaxed. I mean, even now, like I said, I live in South Austin again now.
Yeah.
Another house down there, and so.
Yeah, my daughter lived there for quite some time.
Yeah.
She went to Texas State.
Yeah,
and
I graduated from Texas State.
oh, did you?
also.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, when it was still called Texas State,
Yeah,
right?
before
Okay.
Southwest Texas.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't that young.
The party school days.
Yeah, it was still a party then. It still probably is.
They just they had to rebrand it at least, you
yeah,
know.
for sure. But, yeah, I like the laid-back atmosphere of all of it. That's why I went to Texas State. Got a river running through campus. You know,
I know, it's so
There's
cool,
a convenience
man.
store right down the street. You can run, get beer in between classes, chill by the river.
Yeah,
knock
go
out your
tubing.
homework and go back to school.
That's rad. That's rad.
Yeah.
How'd you get? So, what led you into the business that you're doing now?
I mean, I've been in the service industry, I guess, since day one. I started at the Oasis out on Lake Travis, and then I worked at a couple restaurants, and then I decided I wanted to try to make more money. And a bunch of my friends were talking about the bar scene downtown, so I went to 6th Street and I walked around. I grew a mohawk. I worked out. I know I'm super small now, but you know, back in the day when I was juicing, doing whatever, I walked downtown, just walked around to a few bars, applied to one. As soon as I got in, I got hooked, and I came up real quick in the industry and decided I wanted to run bars. So I went from bar back to, I did every job all the way up. Bar back, security manager, floor manager.
Oh, that's
all the
the
way up
best
to GM,
way to
so.
know the business, though, because
Yeah.
I would imagine that there are certain GMs who end up in those positions having never worked any other position in the industry other than that kind of position, and not knowing the real dynamics of what it's like when you're overcrowded and you're in the weeds and you're having a hard time getting. And they're saying we're not hiring another bartender. It's too expensive because it's going to cut into their pocket.
Well, and they don't
you know.
appreciate like everybody else's struggles on the way up because they just got put in the position, and so they don't understand how it is for everybody else. So it definitely put me in a better perspective to be able to see how everything else goes.
And do you
So,
feel that helps you with how you deal with the rest of your staff as well, knowing what they're going through on a regular basis and their own stresses?
so over like 10 or 12 years of downtown, I would challenge you to find, you know, even one or two people that have ever worked for me that wouldn't be like, hey, Matt was probably the best boss I've ever had. And not being cocky about it, just I treat them the way they're supposed to be treated. I respect what they do and, you know, how they do it. And so I feel like that's a thing that people lose whenever you just kind of get put into that position and you don't see how it is for everybody else on the way up. So I like to pride myself in the fact that my staff will all say I like working for him.
That's great,
I think
man.
that's important. So
Well, and then I guess that leads us up to the Vanilla Ice show. You know, I was really excited because I was like, you know, finally someone's kind of, you know, giving a little bit of a nose up to this whole idea of we can't get together and hang out as people and enjoy a show and enjoy each other's company. You know, that there's some, you know, invisible enemy out there that's going to stop us from sitting next to each other and having a conversation and then being able to enjoy Vanilla Ice, which would have been rad out here on the lake.
it would have been cool.
And just so we get just your story of it, just tell me what happened from your side of it.
So basically with all of that, I mean, we were pushing forward with the show just because, I mean, I feel like the way that it's portrayed through the media nowadays, everybody is so concerned with coronavirus or COVID. They're all about this, which we're not negating that. I mean, it is a big deal. It is obviously affecting a lot of people. However, we're not here to police people or to tell them how they can and can't live their lives. We're here to provide, you know, a fun, safe establishment for them to come out and hang out at. We've taken all the necessary precautions. We have hand sanitizer stations all over the venue. We provide, I mean, I think we have 5,000 masks on hand right now to anybody that wants them. However, due to the fact that we're an outdoor venue in Texas heat, it makes it a little bit difficult for us to tell you, hey, you need to strap yourself down with a mask.
Well, not only that, I mean, scientifically, it's, you know, it's proven that viruses can't survive above 74, 76 degrees heat, you know, especially in a humid environment. So it doesn't make much sense to be that fearful, to me, from a scientific point of view, of a virus coming from any type of strain when the survivability rate in hot temperatures is slim to none when you're in this kind of heat. You know, so it is interesting.
Basically, we left it up to everybody else. You know, we're following all the guidelines that the governor put out for us. We're well within our 50% capacity. We even dropped it down even further than that. And obviously, you've been in the venue now. You see how big and wide open it is.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't an issue. I mean, this obviously, things like this can happen where it gets canceled because it gets all brought up too fast, too quick, and the backlash comes quick. But, there's a lot of media distortion that's already out there about what we said, and they quoted people that didn't even work for us or have never been affiliated with us, but it is what it is.
And what were the quotes that were delivered that were completely erroneous and false?
Saying that we were going to host 2,500 people on the beach and, blah, blah, blah. Those were old quotes that I had done with Austin Chronicle in the past for a different show, stating like, how we can, or what our total capacity is, and it got misconstrued. And then one of the other people that was quoted on there has no affiliation with us at all. And so, it is what it is, though. We're not upset about it. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff seems to happen a lot lately, though, to a lot of different peoples. And I myself, my business has been, for me, I've been completely put out of work for, going on 7 months now. And it completely destroyed my life personally. But I'm not one to just, lay down and take a beating. I always just keep coming back. But I can imagine that this whole thing must be affecting the bottom line of this establishment. This is a big place.
It's a big place.
There must be a lot of overhead.
There's a good amount of overhead, but like I said, all of us that are working here, we've been in the industry for a long time, so we know how to do it right. We know how to manage our costs, so we're able to keep going.
You have a lot of support from the locals here.
We have a huge amount of support from the locals. The locals are the ones that are keeping us afloat. Honestly, because they're all on the same page. Everybody wants to be out. They want to be doing something, and they're not going to come here if they didn't feel safe.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't even ask our local supporters to come out if we felt like we were putting them.
And it's an open air. It's predominantly an open air bar, which also leads to a constant flow of air and everything else like that. So you're not in an enclosed setting. I mean, the worst place to be is in an air conditioned, enclosed, dry environment.
Yeah.
Because the survivability rate of viruses and things like that goes through the roof in those situations.
Point too that we've been bringing up is a lot of us that work in the bar industry, a lot of us don't ever get sick, and it's because we're around thousands of people every single day. Our immunity is built up, and so when you corner somebody off and you keep them pent up in their house for so long, you're not getting sunlight, you're not out in the air, like your immune system is just going down. And then by the time you get back outside to even go to the grocery store, I mean, you're risking even getting it delivered, mobily.
Yeah, of course.
Who knows who touched all your groceries on the way in, unless you're spraying it all down on the way into the house.
Yeah, it becomes a mental clusterfuck. So sorry for my French, but that's the only word I can think of to describe it.
Like being cooped up all the time, not being out socializing. So.
Well, I know it put me through a lot because I lost 5 jobs total went away during the shutdown. As slowly, because we didn't know how long it was going to last. So one got pushed, and then it got canceled. Then 3 other ones got canceled. Another one got pushed and then canceled.
Yeah.
So that was my entire livelihood, stripped away over this. And I don't want to get too into all of this because most people who follow me know how I feel about it. But what was the ultimate catalyst to the cancellation? Was it just the blowback alone, or
Vanilla Ice's team got way too much blowback on it, and so I think they took the.
So there wasn't a death threat or anything like that you heard of? Because I had heard that earlier today, and I don't know if somebody maybe tweeted something out. I'll kill you if you go there to kill people.
That there was death threats, but if I was a gambling man, I would bet that there probably was a few.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
Yeah, well, I was actually laughing about it earlier because I'm like, who the hell would want to kill Vanilla Ice? Like, what maniac out there in the world today would think, I'm going to kill somebody, it's going to be Vanilla Ice?
You should hear the voicemails we got. They were pretty extensive. A lot of angry people that were like, why are you hosting the show? Why would you do this? And, our response to it was, clearly, the public's view of it isn't like you're seeing in the media, because if this many people wanted to come out for a show and wanted to come out, they all value the fact that they can make their own choices.
Exactly.
And, it's 4th of July. It's supposed to be about freedom.
Yeah, it's strange that people are angry that somebody else wants to take their own rights and take their body and take it wherever they want to go. whatever the risk is. But so it's still okay to go, skydiving and wing gliding
Exactly. You
and
take a
all
risk
of
every
these,
day, driving a car or jumping out of a perfectly good airplane.
jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. But they're not making any of that illegal.
Exactly.
You've
deemed that's an okay risk for you to take. So, I mean, even for this, like, I'm not negating that people are dying from the virus or whatever, just like this, because I work at a bar or a restaurant here, but because I work at bars, I don't even go around my parents right now. I get checked weekly for COVID to make sure our entire staff does here. That's another thing too that I feel like is not being portrayed on the media. Our staff gets checked weekly. We sanitize the venue daily. But even me myself, like, if I feel like it's been too many days since I've got checked, I won't even go hang out with my parents just in case.
I mean, it seems to me that should have been the forefront of the story, was all of the precautions that you guys have taken in order to make this event possible, and should have championed that and said, look, this is a great template and a great model for these size of venues to go by, and come, and actually they should have come and shot and filmed the show and saw how everything went.
It doesn't fit the narrative.
It just
for
doesn't
mainstream
fit.
media.
It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because I was so excited about it. I was happy to have a little slice of Americana again, and have a moment of, like, seeing somebody from my age, my time period and stuff, get up there and do their thing, and everybody come together, in a unifying fashion, and enjoy each other's company, because that's what it's about.
It's what it should have been.
Yeah.
And I feel like they never touched on that. It was kind of just like, oh, well, in the midst of a pandemic, they're hosting a concert. It's like, well, if this many people want to come out, then
but it's
maybe your
okay to
narrative is
protest. It's
wrong.
okay to protest by the tens of thousands,
it's like
arm in arm.
And they keep saying, no studies show that any of this comes from protests, and it's like, well, I mean, you can make the numbers however you want them.
Well, the point is, when they say there's no studies that show that it's spread from protest, then how on earth would you say that hanging out, with 50 people in a big open space is going to do anything if you've already quantified tens of thousands of people packed into an area as not being dangerous? Then why on earth would something like this be dangerous? It's almost nonsensical.
It's real. I don't get it, but
I don't get it either. But I am so glad that you guys are still open. And by the way, what's the name of the place again?
Emerald Point Bar and Grill.
Emerald Point Bar and Grill. Do me a favor. If you want to come someplace and hang out and actually let your hair down, take the drive from Austin out here. It's worth it. And hang out. There's plenty of parking in the parking lot. Just don't park next to the lawnmower, because that belongs to a very special patron who's been here for a long time.
Dewey.
So
Dewey's an old veteran.
So make sure you don't block in Dewey's lawnmower, and come by, have some drinks, let your hair down, and enjoy some Americana out here on Lake Travis. Great to talk to you, my man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, brother.
Much love.
Now you can take me to the bar and show me your favorite drink.
Much love.